can't be naive and act like weirdos don't exist by the plenty on this planet, and like there aren't closet weirdos who are low-key in these weird clandestine rivalries or competitions with Sheikhy Chic, who think that if they happen to get some money or something like that, that'll validate them in their invalidity of existence that they already exist in, right? And you can't be naive, right? Validate them with the money. Like, whoa, look at me, I got money and material stuff. Homie, it's a million ways to get money. A lot of them very unethical, a lot of them very dishonorable. You could suck dick into $1 million, you could sell ass, you could kill your moms. A lot of people do wild, grimy, unnoble, unprincipled, uncharacterful shit for money. Money doesn't confer character, right? Not always, right? There is only one way to be sober, there's only one way to be fit, and there's only one way to be enlightened. You see what I'm saying? So if you're not sober and fit and enlightened, all of your material acquisitions in this world don't substantiate your lack of substance in self, don't make you any more inadequate than your personal inadequacy. Whatever you are, your world is yours. And I say that. How? Why? Because if you were to tell me that you would give me $1 billion right now, but I had to be unsober, I had to be out of shape, and I had to lose all of my enlightenment, my actual arrival at the highest degree of universal conception, right? So far from myself, it's perpetual, it's infinite, but I'm a very high degree. If you tell me you'd give me $1 billion and I'd have to, like I said, be unsober, unfit, and unenlightened, I'd tell you kiss ass. I ain't doing that. Whatever you are, your world is yours. What the fuck? The funny thing about it is you could be sober, fit, enlightened, and have $1 billion, but so many people actually would sell out. They'd take the money. And these are the same people who want to claim enlightenment or claim spirituality, but given that opportunity, they'd sell their selves out. They'd sell them out. They'd sell their quality of existence and being. So then they'd be a poor person with $1 billion. So people are like, how is that possible? Poor, because you only equate being poor with money. So many of you only think about money and only have a very crude and rudimentary relationship with money that you're slaves to it in so many ways you're probably not even aware of. You know what I'm saying? So there, you can be a billionaire who's poor as fuck. Same time, there's weirdos in all directions. There's weirdos who have money and are fucking trash ass people. But then there are weirdos who want to lean on, I'm in the woods smelling like patchouli and ass crack, thinking that you're enlightened. If you're truly enlightened, you would never be financially poor because you understand that money is a means to material resources on this planet. And fundamentally, money is a measure of how socially useful you are to civilization, society, or your community. So if you were actually enlightened, you wouldn't be a self-serving, patchouli smelling like ass cracking Jesus sandals in the woods motherfucker talking about how enlightened you are. You'd actually be serving the world at the highest level like myself. Actually in the divine service, actually on the front lines of human advancement and human evolution, instead of being a dumb fuck who wakes up and fumigates their face. Some people wake up and fumigate their face, other people wake up and advance the human race. We're not the fucking same. Whatever you are, your world is yours. So once you get into this shit, it's like, I don't give a fuck how much money motherfuckers end up having, or they can stumble into some relationship and get fucking car, all this other shit. That shit don't validate me. That shit don't validate you. You're still invalid as a being. What the fuck? Like I said, there's only one way to be sober. That means be sober. You can't finesse your way into it. You can only pay the exact square price, the square deal, the exact price that the universe demands for that state of being. Right? You can only be in shape one way. Train hard and have nutritional discipline and supply your physical composition with specific materials. If you supply your physical composition with a random assortment of materials, then we'll see the fuck you look like a random assortment of materials. If you don't train hard, you won't be hard. And whatever you are, your world is yours. So it's so many levels. And then to be enlightened, I'll put it in this video. It requires one way, one path. Now, Newton or whomever could see an apple fall from a tree and have an epiphany about gravity. But that was an individual who stood and sat in deep speculation, deep existential contemplation. Their whole entire existence was an inner inquiry into the nature and phenomena of the existence that they're in. Some of y'all don't actually think. Like I said, having a brain does not equal having a mind. There are mindless people with brains by the plenty. So to be truly enlightened, you have to, and you can't be taught this. This is something that is non-conferable. It's almost like an innate potentiality. I believe many people can epigenetically go through an experience where it will activate that potentiality within them. But given the random assortment of karma and the path of life that most people are incarnated in, it's very unlikely that majority will ever have that catalytic experience to then put themselves in that reflective state of being. Most people are just really on autopilot, moving from vagrant desire to vagrant desire, until you go through actual pain. Not just physical pain, psychological pain, spiritual pain. That puts you in the space to actually become a reflective person. The most reflective people are the people who have suffered on some level, some experience that wanted to leave them mentally disorganized and mentally disintegrated. And to maintain your mental homeostasis, you had to sit there and sift through the reasonings of things. So the only way to arrive at enlightenment is to have sincere and earnest desire for truth in a world full of confusion. Have sincere, earnest desire for truth above all what you want to believe, above all of your biases. You have to sit in sincere desire and sincere, earnest study for such a prolonged time. You can't just leave yourself to looking at the wind or looking at the oceans or the seas. And you have to actually dedicate yourself to years of deep study of all great minds, all thought concepts from all cultural products of all civilizations, of all of human evolution. And then be able to actually sit there with a mind that is able to inductively and deductively reason down to the essence of all speculative and contemplative matters, to then arrive at realizations. Some realizations bloom from within, but you need to have the predisposition of an awareness to then mold that mental material into a new configuration. Why your world is yours? There's only one way to be sober, which is to be sober. There's only one way to be fit, which is to work hard physically and eat sensibly, material composition calculated like a motherfucker, discipline. And then there's only one true route to enlightenment. You can get as high as you want off of whatever if you don't have the awareness of certain principles. If you don't have, so many people have thought already. Motherfuckers is trying to guess their way up to nirvana. You stupid as fuck. You have most people have less than 100 years on this planet. Humans have been around, Homo sapiens, for at least 200,000 specifically. We're not even talking about Australopithecines and things like that. This is the thing. See, I just said Australopithecine. Now you could go Google that shit and go contemplate and meditate on that shit. That is if you have a sincere desire to seek the truth to its final end. You see what I'm saying? Whatever you are, your world is yours. While many pretend, we actually ascend. We are the ascendancy. I keep telling y'all this. Sheikhy Chic is one of the rarest, most valuable beings on the planet. Shouts out to my mentor. Shouts out to the people who were divine examples of a modality of existence that I was insufficient in, that allowed me to study and absorb and master my areas of weakness and inadequacy. As a crown chakra dominant being, I had to master, and an indigo ajna third eye chakra dominant being, as a throat chakra dominant being, as a heart-centered being, I had to master my yellow, my orange, and my red. I had to master my solar plexus. I had to master my sacral, and I had to master ultimately the root. This is why all y'all have money issues and physical issues and earth issues. You have earth issues because your root chakra is fucked up and you're not doing the work, because that actually has material correspondence. You can't just think that shit. You can't just feel that shit. So that's why most of y'all just run back up top to the mind area and sit back in a fanciful delusion. Although you are above, you're still below, right? As above, so below. You can never not be above and below at the same time. It's all about understanding what floor you want to operate on for what specific modality and intention of result to produce. Right. Consider the vibrations fucking raised. If you gave me $1 billion and told me I had to not be sober, fit, and enlightened, I'd tell you to kick rocks and suck a dick. There's 99.9% of these people would take the fucking money. And then these are the same people who say that they're not about the money. They're very much about the money. And it doesn't matter if you ever have more material acquisition than me. I have the most priceless attainments in all of human existence. And it takes true, deep personal work that is totally aside from social leveraging and social weird shit. Whatever you are, your world is yours. Consider the fucking vibrations raised. Who are you gonna be? You're gonna be a sellout? You could look at everybody selling out. They already sold out. They still on drugs. They still don't got no money. Y'all are just sellouts. It's a world full of sellouts. I never sell my soul. You see what I'm saying? Whatever you are, your world is yours. Put it like this. If it was $1 billion or La ilaha illallah, is La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And shouts out to all of the messiahs of all different cultural risings and evolutions of all time. Shouts out to Confucius. Shouts out to Jesus, Isa sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Shouts out to Moses. Shouts out to everybody in the Vendatas and in the Aryan Indo Peninsula. Shouts out to all humans dedicated to the arrival of true consciousness, which is true awareness, which is true discovering context that they're in and applying that to having a well-integrated existence. In 11 minutes, I just gave you so much value that if you don't understand what just happened and have an inclination towards getting around me so that you can actually existentially elevate yourself, then guess what? You're too unintelligent to actually realize the value of your own self. What I do is only for those who can perceive true value. So many people claim awareness, but to be aware and to not apply it is the highest degree of unawareness and the highest degree of poor intelligence. How do you know what to be but choose not to be? There are many people who do not know what to be. Don't have access to a person like me to figure out how to be it. Yet you're aware that you need to be something, yet you're not being it. So that's the direct reflection of poor intelligence. Consider the vibrations raised. I love everybody out there. Sheikhy Chic, your world is yours. One of the rarest beings on the planet. It's just what it is at this point. I ain't never putting people down. I want everybody to rise. I want everybody to win. But, you know, we just can't act like motherfuckers ain't being weird out here. Learn how to learn from people. Learn how to apply yourself. And the only thing stopping you from being where you need to be is the responsibility you're failing to undertake in becoming and being. Whatever you are, your world is yours. Consider the vibrations raised. Are you a sellout? Look at your body. Look at your mind. Look at your bank. Are you still sober? Are you unsober? Come on, ask these questions. You sold out. You sold out. When did you sell out? And when did you feel like being a sellout was more valuable than dying a real motherfucker? Consider the vibrations raised.